Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Good afternoon. A quick live this afternoon to bring you some of these documents. There will be a live at 7 p.m. with an intro video to then discuss everything. Again, welcome to the Transparency. Thank you, mods, for being here. Members, subscribers, welcome. Well, this is news to us, but it's been in the docket for, let's see, since March 22nd. So I'll let those notifications click in. But what we are going to be looking at is documents filed by the defense. And it goes to everything that's been talked about recently with Bethany Funke. So again, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mod. New Orleans lady holding it down. Costa Rica, welcome. All right, so here we go. This is an affidavit in support of motion for out-of-state service. Richard Bethany, being first duly sworn upon oath, says the following. Number one, I am a criminal investigator hired by the defense to assist in the representation of Bryan Kohberger. I was asked by appointed counsel Ann C. Taylor to investigate the alleged incident which led to the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. Bryan is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. The deaths took place in a 3-story home. There are 2 bedrooms on each floor, bathrooms on each floor, and a sink, dining, and living room on the middle floor. Mr. Kohberger is alleged to have entered the house around 4 a.m. while 6 people were sleeping/present, killing 4 people in 2 separate rooms. The people killed were located in 2 bedrooms, one on the 2nd floor and the other on the 3rd floor. Bethany Funke's bedroom was on the 1st floor. The other surviving roommate's bedroom was on the 2nd floor. Bethany Funke was interviewed by police on several occasions. She disclosed things she heard and things she saw. Bethany Funke was present at the home 8 hours later when police were called, arrived on scene, and discovered the homicides. During the course of my investigation, it became known to me that Bethany Funke has information material to the charges against Mr. Kohberger. Portions of information Ms. Funke has is exculpatory to the defendant. Ms. Funke's information is unique to her experiences and cannot be provided by any other witness. Bethany Funke resides in the state of Nevada, and it is necessary to subpoena this witness because the witness's testimony is material and necessary to this case. This was signed on March 22nd, 2023. So, yeah, good afternoon, everybody. So I think that a lot of people should back up what they have been saying. This is why in the United States of America, you are innocent until proven guilty. We don't know what's going to come of this. But here it is, March 22nd, 2023, an affidavit in support. And this is the defense's investigator. Okay, so you're going through all the discovery. You're going through all the interviews. You're going through everything. And again, here you go. Again, those of you guys just joining in, we'll be discussing this document in a lot more detail this evening at 7 p.m. But this is the affidavit in support of the motion for the out-of-state service. Okay. And so everybody's been talking about Bethany and her wanting to, quash her subpoena. The reason that Bethany was subpoenaed in this out-of-state service was by the defense due to the investigation. So then you want to go back and you want to start talking about when the Brady Giglio came out. These are all things that we're going to discuss later. Right after this was filed was Defense Exhibit B. Yep, the Brady Giglio, exactly. Looks like she told, but someone hid what she disclosed in order to arrest BK. That's exactly what I'm leaning towards. It could possibly be that. But all of these dates are very close to each other with the date of this affidavit, the motion, and then the Brady Giglio coming out. Again, this was the defense's investigator that did a sworn statement, an affidavit, in support of the motion that Bethany needs to be present for the preliminary hearing because Bethany is going to be testifying. And it is material in the fact that this investigator believes that Bethany Funke has exculpatory evidence. Exculpatory evidence is evidence that will exonerate a person. Again, those of you guys that have been tuning in the past couple nights, I've made it pretty clear that in this preliminary hearing, the police were going to try to get around not having Bethany there and not having Dylan there, and leaning on their qualified witnesses that were able to testify to hearsay, which would be the police officers. Once I saw the subpoena for Bethany and that they were trying to quash it, I immediately knew, just common sense wise, is that why would Bethany be trying to quash and not cooperate with the prosecution? And so here you have it. It was from the defense, and it's because they're subpoenaing her because she has in her testimony, everything that she's ever said in her interviews, that is material that I believed would impeach somebody, impeach the testimony of, let's say, a police officer that wants to testify to hearsay. She has that ability. She's the only person that can testify to what she heard and saw, that day, that night. She's the one, especially if there's multiple interviews and multiple statements. But I believed that Bethany and Dylan were going to try to be, that they were going to try to get around not having them at the preliminary hearing. Okay. And to me, that looks like it's the case, because here the defense has to come in to subpoena her to be there, because I believe that they handed over a witness list that said that these people were not going to be on it for this preliminary hearing. So then here the defense puts in this motion, March 22nd, with the investigator's affidavit, sworn affidavit, and stating that Bethany Funke is needed. She has exculpatory evidence. Her testimony, whatever she saw, whatever she heard, maybe the time frames, whatever it is that Bethany Funke has, it can exonerate with exculpatory evidence Bryan Kohberger, according to this man who is the investigator. So you're not going to see a lot of people filling out sworn affidavits like this with their career on the line and saying this type of stuff in such a high profile case, in my opinion, if they don't have something that they deem as super relevant. And then you go back and you look at the dates of all of this. And this is everything that we're going to discuss tonight in depth at 7 p.m. So, again, I will read it for those of you guys that just came in one last time. And then we're going to go balls to the walls tonight. Going to actually try to get a person or two to join me to discuss this, that has, what I would deem as expert opinions. But here it is. This is the affidavit in support of motion for out-of-state service. Richard Batanti, being first duly sworn upon oath, says, I am a criminal investigator hired by the defense to assist in the representation of Bryan Kohberger. I was asked by appointed counsel Ann C. Taylor to investigate the alleged incident which led to the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. I do want to say that all the News Nation leaks and their sources close to the investigation, you guys are so, so pathetic. Because where was this? Where was this? Again, I was asked by appointed counsel Ann C. Taylor to investigate the alleged incident which led to the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. Bryan is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. The deaths took place in a 3-story home. There are 2 bedrooms on each floor, bathrooms on each floor, and a kitchen, dining, and living room on the middle floor. Mr. Kohberger is alleged to have entered the house at around 4 a.m. while 6 people were sleeping/present, killing 4 people in 2 separate rooms. The people killed were located in 2 bedrooms, one on the 2nd floor and the other on the 3rd floor. Bethany Funke's bedroom was on the 1st floor. The other surviving roommate's bedroom was on the 2nd floor. Bethany Funke was interviewed by police on several occasions. She disclosed things she heard and things she saw. Bethany Funke was present at the home 8 hours later when police were called, arrived on scene, and discovered the homicides. During the course of my investigation, it became known to me that Bethany Funke has information, material to the charges against Mr. Kohberger. Portions of information Miss Funke has, portions of it, is exculpatory to the defendant. Ms. Funke's information is unique to her experiences and cannot be provided by any other witness. Bethany Funke resides in the state of Nevada, and it is necessary to subpoena this witness because the witness's testimony is material and necessary to this case. Signed, dated March 22nd, 2023. Again, truth and transparency. This is the defense's investigator. And it's very simple. Everything that we've been hearing about Bethany being subpoenaed, well, clearly right here, this has come from the defense. The defense subpoenaed her because the prosecution was not planning on calling her for the preliminary hearing. In my opinion, I believe that like here, you have to give us over who your witnesses are, who you plan on, calling and stuff like that. I believe that Bethany and Dylan were left off of this and that they were not planning on using them for the preliminary and just using police officers. Okay. So, but think back, guys. Today is what? April 3rd, 24th, something like that, 24th. Okay, so basically a month ago. A month ago, what started coming out? When did the Brady Giglio come out? All right. So if I was to give an opinion right now, based on what I'm seeing, all of these dates are all around each other. Okay. If Bethany was interviewed multiple times, where are all of these interviews? Did somebody attempt to bury one of these interviews? How could Bethany Funke have material exculpatory evidence for like Brian Kohlberger, and how does that get missed by the police, the FBI, the investigators? How does that get missed? So again, this does not say that Bethany was not there, okay, for it. We'll break down the language a little bit later tonight at 7. But this is everything that we've been saying over here about this investigation, about the paperwork, about the way that police, based on what we've seen so far, and their reporting abilities with the body cams. Some people don't even click a button to say that they're there on scene. But there's 40 some FBI agents for this case. There's the Idaho State Police. You have all hands on deck. And I'm telling you, when you have all hands on deck and you have multiple agencies and different people doing different interviews, and then how do you get that all into the hands of the person that's running the investigation, okay, to put it all together, to see what's going on? How do you brief that? How do you debrief at the end of the day? Is a cluster. So did what Bethany had to say on one of the occasions slip through the cracks and it didn't get into the stack of pile where you're looking at it to say, oh my gosh, well, look at what she said here on this day? Because it's not that Bethany could have had, you guys, I've always said this, it's not so much that you have to interview somebody multiple times because they're saying different things. It's because you have more questions. So as more questions come about in the investigation, we have to, okay, let's get Bethany back in her to ask her, X, Y, and Z. So as more information in an investigation comes out, you do interview people multiple times. because a question wasn't asked the first time. So, but this right here, what this is telling me, when you read this, it's telling me very clearly that the word saw and the word heard are in there. There's more, but I'm going to introduce that later. When you see Bethany Funke was interviewed by police on several occasions, she disclosed things she heard and things she saw. Okay. So that being, were there multiple people in this home when she went to bed? Okay. Were there people still alive at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., but this is things that Bethany saw and heard. So Bethany being interviewed, Bethany being subpoenaed. Here it is. This can all be put to rest. The defense subpoenaed her right here. And the reason they subpoenaed her is because of their investigator going through the discovery, going through what the prosecution would have handed over, going through all of that, coming across things. Maybe they did some interviewing. We don't know that right now, but at least based on the discovery, based on this person's investigation and the stuff that they came to know because of taking all of the stuff that was handed over from the prosecution. That's what discovery. That's why they needed more time to go through everything, because there was mounds of how much stuff was handed over? A ton of stuff. I mean, think about it. How long did this investigation go on before Bryan Kohberger was arrested? So you have all that paperwork. You have all those reports. You have body cam footage. So they came across this stuff. Okay, this guy is not just going to write up an affidavit, unlike what we've seen on here on YouTube and people just lying their asses off. But these people care about their job. Okay, he's filling out an affidavit based off of what he's seen, and he's saying that no, Bethany needs to be here because she's the one that can testify to this. She's the one, and that's where I believe, in my opinion, is that Bethany's testimony could potentially impeach what they believe these officers could possibly say, because maybe they wouldn't say it all. So again, Bethany was subpoenaed by the defense because, in my opinion, they were not planning on calling her to the stand in the preliminary hearing. They were going to go through just the qualified police officers that could testify to hearsay. Well, we need Bethany because she has exculpatory evidence, so she has to testify. That's why this was put in. This was for a subpoena to get Bethany from Nevada on over to, to come to courthouse for that week of the preliminary hearing. And so maybe the quash has something to do with Bethany does not want to come in person. Bethany wants to be web, she wants to do Zoom. She wants to testify via Zoom because of security and safety reasons. Okay. So now we can start talking about that, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later. So you don't know why they wanted to quash it, but it could be for numerous reasons. But yet she still wants to be cooperative. It could just be, hey, you guys want me to come physically there. I want to do it via Zoom, you know. So people out there that were saying, does Bethany's testimony, would it impeach Dylan's, you know, what Dylan plans on saying? But she is clearly material, but the more important word is exculpatory. This investigator believes that Bethany's information that she witnessed firsthand with things she heard and saw, that's exculpatory for Bryan Kohberger. And that's unreal. Unreal. Kudos to the defense so far to be able to confidently write this up and submit this to the courts. Wow. So now let's talk about that. Yeah, there are more court documents. I have them. I'm keeping it to this right now, and we'll be live later at 7 to discuss more, and it has to do with the press. Now let's start talking about that, the house, and them wanting to demolish the house. That ain't happening. This just came out. So, just unreal, right? It doesn't mean BK will be freed. They're just going to try to rip their story apart to cause reasonable doubt. I think you need to read that affidavit again. Exculpatory evidence means that what this person has, that means that he didn't do it based on the evidence that this person has. That's what the Brady Giglio was all about. And the prosecution tried to jump in front of it and bring it to the forefront. It's because maybe somebody was trying to do the right thing. So thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. So that's how you get freed, is exculpatory evidence. So screw the term material witness right now. This is unreal. Okay. This would be like finding like the OJ gloves in somebody else's house that were all bloody. That's like them during their investigation, they found the OJ gloves, let's say like in his son's, apartment. That would be like exculpatory evidence with gloves having like the blood of all the victim, the two victims, Ron Goldman and Nicole, and then Jason Simpson. That's exculpatory. For OJ Simpson back, I'm just trying to show you an example. So I don't believe anybody is grasping at straws. What I think is hilarious, though, is, have you guys heard any breaking news from mainstream media yet? This is pretty big information here. It can't get any bigger. Oh, Heather, how are you? Atlanta. Yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot of things tonight because we're going to go back to the drawing board because now the investigation, in my opinion, picks back up. So I can't believe that no one's talking about this. Geez. I mean, exculpatory evidence, guys. This is not, I mean, this is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I really need to see here the exculpatory evidence in order to formulate an opinion about it. I'm totally cool with that. But I think for an investigator who is willing to put his career on the line and fill out this affidavit, and it's such a high-profile case like this, and to do this, you can ask yourself what you would be signing an affidavit for like this. Home team, Doc Thrifty in the house. And didn't it say material exculpatory? No. Absolutely, Annie. I hope he sues everyone in media who spent the last 6 months slandering him. You know, I'm making an intro video for tonight, and what I was working on is all these things that all these people have been saying on mainstream media. Just like a source close to the investigation. Get out of here. They should be fired. So again, I'm so glad that you guys took your, break away from whatever it is that you were doing this lovely afternoon to hear this, but the wording is very clear. It is, Ms. Funke has, so during the course of my investigation, it became known to me that Bethany Funke has information material to the charges against Mr. Koberger. Portions of information Ms. Funke has is exculpatory to the defendant. Ms. Funke's information is unique to her experiences and cannot be provided by another witness. Bethany Funke resides in the state of Nevada, and it is necessary to subpoena this witness because the witness's testimony is material and necessary to this case. Because remember, this is not just about, this is a case. So this would be, she's material to this case, not just Brian. Because in order to solve this case, right, in order to get the perpetrators, what Bethany Funke has is exculpatory to Brian Koberger, but also material to this case, meaning whoever, in my opinion, did this, whether it's one person, whether it's multiple people. So it's like a double whammy. So I just want everybody that's involved. I want everybody that's involved, and I've always said this, if it's Brian, it's Brian. If it's Brian and other people, it's Brian and other people. If it's other people and not Brian, okay. But when something looks like shit, smells like shit, it is shit. So, was this only released today? It has the 22nd of March. This was released today. And the reason that it's kind of coming out is because of, well, I believe the quash, but that's just my opinion. I think everybody that goes to school on the University of Idaho's campus deserves the truth. Okay? You should not live in fear on that campus. You should be able to enjoy your college experience. You should be able to mourn the losses of your friends, classmates. Parents should be able to sleep at night with their children there. That town, that community deserves the truth, just like the students, the victims, the parents of the victims. But pushing and hiding the truth, there's only going to be more victims in the end. So I want you guys to have a good rest of your afternoon. Like I said, truth and transparency. Make yourself known. Hit the thumbs up, thumbs down, depending on if this video was your cup of tea. And we will be back live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will throw up a thumbnail so that you guys can click the notifications, the reminders. If you're having trouble getting notifications, resubscribe, and maybe I'll toggle your notifications. That sometimes happens. But we'll break it down tonight. Thank you for all the kind words. And then we'll open up some calls after. I'm gonna try to get one expert or two. Bella's an expert, so we'll get her. She's a good expert. She can play my devil's advocate. Would you talk to a current student anonymously? Yes, I would. You can email me themindchallenge@gmail.com. That'll come right to me. And absolutely. So, all right, everybody, go enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And again, you guys rock. Share this live. This needs to be talked about in the right way, because that word exculpatory is not thrown around. That's a very, very serious term. And thank God here at TNT, we've never stopped investigating this case. So, Doc Thrifty, thank you for being here and always supporting home team. Thank you to the mods. You guys rock. Literally the best on YouTube. The members and subscribers, you guys have brains, and whether you guys are disagreeing or agreeing in chat, you guys are respectful, you guys are educated, and kudos to you. So keep doing what you're doing. Is it 7 p.m. Eastern Standard? Yes, it is. See you guys then. Take care.